Hey friends, so now today we're gonna do something a little bit different. Instead of me telling you how to become a data engineer, I'm gonna talk about the mistakes that might stop you from getting hired as a data engineer. Over the last few years, a lot of people decided to move into data engineering, so they start learning Python, then SQL, and then they start building some projects, following different roadmaps, and still, many of them never actually get the job. And of course, yes, I understand the AI changed a lot of things and made it hard to get a job, but my friends, companies are still hiring data engineers, even junior ones. I keep seeing this happening all the time from your comments, from the messages I get in the LinkedIn, and as well talking to my colleagues at the work. So actually the real question here is, why do some people succeed while others stay stuck? And I can tell you, after working in many years in the industry, I keep seeing the same patterns, the same mistakes repeating over and over. And this is exactly what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna show you the biggest mistakes that might stop you from becoming a data engineer, and if you avoid them, things might become much easier. Alright, so now let's start with the mistake number one. Trying to learn every tool in the industry. I have been seeing this all the time. Someone decided to become a data engineer, so the first thing that they do, they go and make a big list of tools that they think they need to learn. Things like Kafka, Airflow, Spark, Snowflake, Databricks, AWS, Azure, dbt, containers, and many more. And at the end, the roadmap gonna look like a technology supermarket.
Ryan thinks that technology is the answer.
So this is a big mistake. If you go and try to learn everything at the same time, what's gonna happen? You're gonna end up having a little bit knowledge about everything, but nothing deeply. And this is a big issue because usually the company is gonna hire you because of our projects. And in projects, we will not go and use all those tools. We're gonna use a specific stack. Like for example, using platform like Databricks. And if they go and interview you, they're gonna ask you deeply about this topic, not only just the surface to run a simple example, because they expect you to understand the technology, how it works behind the scenes, you understand the architecture and the components, when to use what. So my recommendation is to focus on one stack. Like for example, it's going to be simple: SQL, Python, Spark, Databricks, and actually that's it, because this is more than enough to build the biggest project in any company. So don't go and add for it more tools and platforms like Snowflake, Fabric, Airflow, Synapse. Focus on one stack and go understand it deeply. Okay, moving on to mistake number two, focusing only on tools and forgetting about the real data engineering skills. I can tell you, back in 2013, I built my first data warehouse using a tool called Talent, and then I moved into a new tool called IBM Data Stage. Same problems, but just different buttons. And then after that, in Mercedes-Benz, I started using Azure Data Factory, Azure Synapse, and eventually I used Databricks. So what I'm trying to say is that tools keep changing, and it's gonna be really easy to jump from one tool to another, but the data engineering concepts and skills gonna stay the same. So I recommend you here to not only learn tools, but as well give yourself some time to actually read about data engineering. Like for example, what is data warehouse, data lakehouse, what are the differences between them, when to use ETL, ELT, what are the differences between streaming and patching, how to build a data model, what are the different approaches like the data vault, dimensional modeling, Snowflake, star schema. And of course, I'm not saying here that you have to go and build all those things, because this might take really years. Just read about it and have the basic understanding, at least what are the differences between them and when to use them. And trust me, companies gonna ask you about those stuff. I have been asked about it, and as well I have been asking those questions myself when I was interviewing other data engineers. So my friends, yes, learn about tools, but as well you have to find time in between to read about the data engineering concepts. Okay, moving on to another big mistake. Many people ignore SQL. This really surprised me each time it happens, to see data engineer that join a project. They have really good skills, but they struggle writing very simple SQL query with only few joins. I have seen this happens a lot. Many people jump directly into topics like Spark, Python. They want only to work with cool things to build the big data projects, work with distributed computing, all exciting stuff, but they skip one of the most important skill, the SQL. And once I ask why you didn't learn SQL, they say, you know what, SQL is dead, it is not cool.
That's not important.
It is only for juniors. But the funny thing, this is all illusion, because once you start working in the real projects in companies, huge part of your work can still happens in SQL.
That is really what's important.
because every modern platforms like the Databricks, Snowflake, and even streaming platforms like Kafka, they gonna like offers people to use SQL in order to interact with the data. So for example, if you are doing data transformations and cleanup in the server layer, you're gonna end up using PySpark, and mostly you're gonna use SQL inside it. If you are building a data model inside the code layer with a lot of business rules, you're gonna end up using SQL to do that. If there are any data issue, you're gonna debug using SQL, and if you have a new data source, you're gonna use SQL as well to explore it. So my friends, you're gonna find SQL in many platforms and you're gonna use it in many steps of the engineering process. So don't make this mistake, don't underestimate SQL, start with it and then move on to another tools and programming languages like Python and Spark. And my friends, if you want to break into data engineering, I always recommend DataCamp for its well-structured tracks. It is hand down one of the most interactive hands-on platform out there. The Associate Data Engineering in SQL track is a perfect starting point. You will go from understanding the basics of data engineering and the ETL workflows to mastering SQL joins and the data warehouse principles with the Snowflake. And after that, I recommend you to continue with Python. The Python Data Fundamentals track is a great next step where you're gonna learn the foundations of Python, data manipulations with Panda, and visualizations with the Seaborn. Now after those two, I recommend you the Data Engineering in Python track. It's gonna help you to move toward real industry skills like data ingestion, APIs, building ETL pipelines, and workflow automation with the Airflow. And once you are ready, you can validate your skills with the DataCamp's data engineering certificates. It is industry recognized and comes with the timed and practical exams. So this is very effective, especially if you are searching for a job, because it's gonna gives you the best of the two worlds, the practical experience and the pathway to earn an industry recognized certification. If you are serious about becoming a data engineer, check the links below. I can even get you a 25% discount. So now let's get back. Alright, moving on to another mistake, building toy projects. Now the thing is, portfolio projects are very important today. Sometimes it is even more important than certificates because they gonna really show the interviewers that you can actually build something real. But I can tell you, after reviewing many projects, I found out that most of them are extremely small. If you take a look closer, you're gonna see that they are just loading one CSV file, cleaning up the data, and then exporting another CSV. Well, technically yes, I cannot say this is not a pipeline, but this is not a real data engineering pipeline that we do in companies. In real scenarios, we connect data from multiple sources and they come in different format, in files, APIs, databases, or even from stream. So not only connecting one single CSV file.
No, it's not good enough. It's not good enough.
And our job as well is not only building a pipeline that's gonna move the data from A to B, but as well to add things like, for example, handling the errors, the retries, validating the quality of the data, and sending notifications if something goes wrong. You have as well to show in the project that you can think in architecture. Like for example, you're gonna go and build a data lakehouse using the layers bronze, silver, and gold. We call it the medallion architecture. So you have to show in the project you are moving the data from one layer to another layer and what are the purpose of each one of them. And as well in the project, you have to try to simulate more realistic conditions. Like for example, try and add bad data to the pipelines and see what can happen. Try to add large datasets and see the performance, how fast you can process it in the different layers. And as well to show how you monitored the whole process and you protocoled the findings. So my friends, what I'm trying to say is that don't go and build quickly 10 different toy small projects. Instead of that, go and build one single but serious project. And I can say this is going to be highly likely the reason why you might get hired.
I hired my nephew.
Okay, to the next mistake, learning outdated technologies. Now, I have seen people that are following roadmaps and courses that are already 10 years old, so they're gonna spend a lot of time learning things like managing Hadoop clusters, how to configure the Spark clusters manually, or working with heavy on-prem ETL tools. Now, don't get me wrong, these tools were very important in the past, but now the data ecosystem has changed a lot. The thing is, many companies don't want their engineers to spend their time just managing infrastructure infrastructure away from the projects. They want them to focus on the projects, on the data. So they want them to build something like a data lakehouse on platforms like Databricks or Snowflakes. So they want them to generate data products, data assets for the companies to be reused by analytics or AI. So now in modern companies, the idea is very simple. They're gonna utilize those platforms that they're gonna handle the complexity of the infrastructure, and the data engineers of the companies, they're gonna focus on the data and the projects. So what I'm trying to say, if you spend a lot of time learning how to manage clusters and how to deal with the infrastructure, the legacy systems, you might be preparing yourself for a world that many companies, modern ones, already moved away from. And of course, the goal is not to ignore the past, so we have to understand those topics, how it works, but we don't deep dive. We should focus on where the industry is going, and currently it is going to more modern data platforms. And by the way, I made a video explaining the complete full roadmap, step by step, how to become data engineer from zero to a senior. Check the link in the description. And now, my friends, we come to the last mistake. This is going to be really interesting, is going extremes with the AI. Right now, I see two types of people trying to become data engineers. The first group are the vibe coders. So they're going to go and open AI, ask it to build a data pipeline, copy the code, run it, and move on without understanding at all what is going on. I call them a copy-paste engineers, and this is a big problem because in real projects, things are way more complex than you think. There will be a lot of data coming from different sources, and you have to integrate everything into data pipelines. And if something goes wrong, you cannot just rely on the AI to fix it for you. In many scenarios, actually, they add more issues to the problem. So you have to have some understanding about what is going on, and this is going to be as well issue in the interviews. So if someone asks you a simple question about the code, why did you design the pipeline like this, how are you going to debug the failures, you're going to have struggle if you are just copy pasting. So this is one group. And as well, on the other side, we have the other extreme. Some people completely ignore AI tools as they don't exist. So for some reasons, they don't use it at all. They don't know how to write one single good prompt. They don't provide context, define roles, clearly describe the task, the outcome of the AI. And as well, this is a big mistake because now teams and companies, they're gonna expect from the engineers, from you, to know how to deal with the AI, how to work with it in order to speed up the development process. And as well, in the interviews, they're gonna ask about it. So you have to explain how you use AI to assist you. So if you completely ignore it, you risk looking outdated. So my friends, my recommendation is of course a balance. Don't become copy-paste data engineer, and as well on the other side, don't completely ignore the AI. Learn how to use the AI to assist you while learning coding and as well data engineering topics in order to understand how things works. So those are the mistakes that I have been seeing over and over from many people that might get you stuck and as well not get you hired. If you enjoy this type of content and you would like to support me, then subscribe, like and comment in order to reach nice people like you. And if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. And if you are searching for a job, I wish that you found one as soon as possible. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.